What makes a game retro? Because we toss this word around, man, but oof. I don't know. I don't know if there's a consensus on this.
Parvinator.
The Parvinator.
Guys, maybe you saw this on Reddit, maybe you didn't. I saw it and I got into it and I was like, okay, we got to do something out of this. This is a story. More than a story, this is a conversation. All right, but I want to talk about this thread I saw here on Reddit. And as always, we're only using this to generate the conversation. There's no criticism of any individuals here. We're only talking ideas, okay? Ideas. The big ones. All right, I saw this thread on r/gaming. It said, retro gamers, what's one thing about older systems you forget about until you go back to use them? And already I'm bought in. I'm like, okay, I'm loving this, right? Something about those older systems that until you go back and try to plug them up or, you know, get them running, you flip that switch, you're playing the game. What's some of that stuff you've forgotten about, all right? Now, as a little programming note, I went back to try to find this again today, and it had been nuked. It got nuked by the moderators of Reddit, of r/gaming. So I gotta wonder if maybe the internet wasn't ready for this this conversation here. I don't understand why r/gaming would you know, kill this. I don't know why that would happen. Mods, dude. Mods think they're gods. Maybe they're just afraid that more people are getting into retro gaming and folks are going to go over to that subreddit instead. I don't know. You know, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to figure out why a mod is doing what a mod does. But they removed it. Thankfully, I was still able to get in and get what I needed for today's story. Thankfully. All right, here we go. The text of the OP said, talking about systems older than 2013. For me, it's the slower download speeds of the X360 and the PS3 that stuck out. Took my PS3 over 10 hours to download a crack in time. Right, so Fireball said the quick load times. OP here mentions those download times, right? Being super long. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, hold on. We talking download speeds? We're talking download speeds. What? Retro gaming? All right. I was confused, to say the least. But you know, then I let the inner gaming historian come out a bit. You know, I let that part of me come out and have their day, and I realized, you know what? I've learned about lots of retro systems that do have internet access. They did have downloading kind of services here. So you know what? That's on me. I'd forgotten for a second. I'd forgotten about stuff like the Sega modem. Ah, beautiful. Love to have one of those, you know. X-Band, the Satellaview for the, you know, Super Famicom, big add-on there. Of course, one of our favorites here, the Nintendo 64 DD. This thing got advertised a whole bunch, only to never make it out of Japan. Never made it to the West. And it was in a whole lot of, like, you know, ads, reel packages, things like that. And of course, it's a favorite around here. I've shared my love for the Nintendo 64 DD, of which I don't own, but I just couldn't help how powerful, wondering how powerful that system would have been had it ever made it out of Japan, you know. And yeah, Nintendo 64, you know, it's one of the greatest what ifs in gaming history. It's got to be, right? But yeah, so we've been there. I think I'm just kind of in bliss thinking about that system in that picture or something, eyes closed and everything. Yeah. Welcome, Raps. Raps in the chat said, in your opinion, is the PS4 new gen? You know, that's the thing. Where do you draw the line? We're going to talk about that in a bit. How do you define some of these words? I got one for you in just a bit. Yeah. All right. Hey, and then the Dreamcast. Who could forget the Dreamcast? I owned that one, even though that guy at Best Buy tried to talk me out of buying it. Okay, salesperson at Best Buy had heard that they were going to discontinue this thing in the US. I went in to buy it for that reason. He tried to talk me out of it. Oh, it's going to be discontinued. And I'm standing there like, right. Yeah, let's go. Sell me one. Anyway, Dreamcast, right? Okay, downloading, cool. Right, so, you know, benefit of the doubt, I'm like, okay, downloading, you know, I get you, right? So I get into the comments here, and I want to see what is it for these folks that when they go back to these retro systems, what is something that they've forgotten about until they try to get it rolling, right? Until they try to get that system running. One of the top answers was wired controllers. Perfect timing, Ichigo. Right? Wired controllers. They said there was a lot more gaming being done on the floor back in the day. I mean, some of my best gaming ever was done on the floor. And I'm talking like uncomfortable floors here. Quite often, well, actually, a lot of shag carpet, soft. Yeah, not great for the allergies. But yeah, some of my best gaming was done on sitting down on my ass, you know? Down on the floor. A little closer to the earth, you know? Where a gamer belongs. All right. Now, I saw this as well. Someone said not needing internet to play a game. It's like, okay. All right, nice.
Give me a hell yeah.
You know, loving that. Somebody else said, I miss when I could just put a game in the disc tray or cartridge port. That was a good save there. The disc tray by itself, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's retro, sure, but can we get... And they said cartridge port, so even more retro. And just run it up? Dude, okay. I miss when I could just put a game in the disc tray or cartridge port and just run it up. No download on startup, no update required. Just play the damn game and enjoy.
Give me a hell yeah.
Which one of you guys wrote this? Come on, this has got to be someone from Parvination, or they don't yet know that they're a member. But yeah, dude, I'm loving this. Come on, you guys got to fess up. One of you did that. Now, another person went on to say that the NES only utilizes 2 main buttons instead of 4 plus. That was something that they were reminded of when they got back to retro gaming for the first time in a while. Was that there's only 2 buttons on the NES, which I'm thinking like, yeah, sick, right? It's fucking awesome. But then I read the next comment. They said, you think that's bad? Bad? I don't think that's bad, dude. I think it's sick. They got it done with 2 buttons. That's all they needed was 2 buttons. Think of all the things they accomplished with 2 buttons on the NES, the Famicom, the Sega Master System. They went on to say the Sega Master System only has 2 buttons, and that includes the start button with no select. And yes, at least gets 2 action buttons and 2 menu buttons. SMS had 2 period. Ichigo said NES underutilized the select button. Yeah. Some titles could have used something for that, a function for that. It didn't always get the best usage, but damn, overall, they got a whole lot done with those two action buttons. Yeah. You had to take your left thumb off the D-pad, I suppose, to get to that select, which could be difficult. Yeah. All right, man. I love that. Love seeing that. Now, someone clocked this. Someone clocked that. I started to see a bunch of comments where folks were mentioning back in the OP. It said talking about systems older than 2013. I think I noticed that when I first saw it, but I just skipped. It was the download speeds that got me at first. But yeah, they did say they were talking about systems older than 2013 in the OP. And this was one of those comments I saw that was pointing that out there. Retro gamers older than 2013. They said, oof. Right? Oof. I'm still working through my 2013 backlog. I thought this was about 90s consoles. I think I may be old. Now, some of you might be feeling old right now, and I don't want to put this on you. This is not on you here, right? I mean, No, don't feel old over this, okay? But seeing this, just, it got me thinking. Older than 2013? Now, what is retro, right? Okay, and we'll get to that in a second now. Now, some smartass comes flying into the comments here and starts mentioning, well, yeah, it's retro. The Xbox 360 came out 20 years ago. Now, it's not 20 years ago, first off. Gamers really love to like stretch. They love to add like a year and a half or more onto like how long a game has been out when they're... And I get it, because, hey, when we're here in the Gamer Lifestyle Lounge, the facts are coming fast and loose. And they're not always that, sometimes they miss the mark, those facts. But yeah, this person came in saying, yeah, Xbox 360 is 20 years old. Okay, well, November 22, 2005, sure. We'll call it 20 years. I'll round up that last bit there. We'll round it up. 2005, man. And I absolutely froze up for a second when I saw this and looked it up for myself, you know? 2005, the Xbox 360. It just didn't sound right. Of course it is right. I looked it up. This has me asking, what makes a game retro? What makes a game retro? Because we toss this word around, man, but oof. I don't know. I don't know if there's a consensus on this. What makes a game retro? Is it age? If you wanted to define a game as being retro, let's say you had to put a game into those two states, retro or modern. Is that sufficient? First off, those two classifications, I don't know. Now, what about age? Is there a cutoff point? A game is, or a console is this many years old, that makes it retro. Maybe. It's an age. Generation's a good way to break it down, possibly. Or is it more of like an atmosphere or a vibe to it, a feeling? Is it more of a vibe? Is it a gameplay type of style, you know, or a collection of gameplay styles that makes something retro? I don't know. Is it the age? Is it the vibe? What is it? Okay, let's do a little comparison here. All right, and bear with me for just a bit. Let's do a quick comparison. Let's travel 20 years in gaming. You've got the NES on the left. The Famicom came out in what? 1983. Is that right? Yeah. But NES came out in 85, so we'll call it 85. From the NES up to the Xbox 360, which was 2005. 1985 versus 2005. A jump of 20 years. Looks pretty significant, right? Look at, you've got down there one of the DuckTales games. Or rather, yeah, it was DuckTales, right? Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. And then on the right, I got Fallout. Is that what we're seeing? Yeah. Interesting, yeah. I'm loving what we're getting here in the chat too, right? Yeah, some of you guys are starting to help define it. I love this. And with some examples too. Absolutely. I'd love to come back on those. I think I'll finish this and we'll roll back into those because you guys are giving some great examples. 20 years difference. Pretty huge right there, okay? Now, what if you jump another 20 years? What if you take Xbox 360 up to our current generation? Well, 15 years, I suppose, 2005 to 2020. But then, you know, you have some games you can, you know, move around that timeline for. Some are more recent. You can move our timeline all the way up to 2024. Now, to me, this jump here, yeah, maybe they learn not to do the piss filter as much anymore in the image on the right, you know. The days of the piss filter that we learned about, we were talking GTA 4 the other day. Maybe those days are over. I don't know. but they both have a modernity to me, a vibe to it that I don't know. I don't know if I don't see retro on the left. I don't see retro. Maybe these things aren't defined so simple. Maybe these words don't do these concepts justice, you know? We shouldn't, you know, tie ourselves to them, right? Well, at this point, I'm in the thread, and I'm just thinking, I got to get out of here. Okay, right? I'm starting to think about all this. I'm starting to think about what is retro. Am I old? I'm in my late 30s at this point, you know, and I'm not that far behind golf celebrating its 40th birthday. I'm not that far behind that one. Ichigo says anything before HDMI. Yeah, let's take a second. Actually, let me pause. Let's take a second to see what you guys have said. Ichigo said anything before HDMI. So that when you cross into HD, it's about possibly a resolution, which is also tied to eras as well. And a lot of franchises, when they do remakes, they are calling things HD or what have you, just to signify that new. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah. Nick said, I don't know if I'd consider the Wii era as retro yet. Yeah, it's hard to know where to draw the line. Aiton said Doom on Jag and SNES shows that time's approach. Those are good comparisons. 32, Fireball said 32-bit or less equals retro. 64-bit or more equals modern. But that's just my opinion. Ooh, cutting it off at 64. Nice. That's some people might find that like a little early of a cutoff. Yeah, I'm loving this, man. Aiton said retro ended when PC and console were simple ports without significant alterations. Yeah. We've got a multitude of ideas here. It seems like none of us can nail this down. And honestly, right, is it a fool's errand in the first place to try to define retro? But damn if we're not going to do it. So I exit that thread, and I'm tired of thinking about the passage of time, right? I'm just like, let me move on from this thought process of am I old or not. I don't want to think about it anymore. And then the very next thread I see is this, you know, the next one. Younger gamers, what's the oldest game you've played? And you know, for a second I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. You know, do I want to have my heart broken? I was like, let's just get in. Let's just get in and see, right? Okay. Top comment was Super Mario Bros. 1985. And, you know, I gotta admit, I let the shoulders relax a little bit. Well, I didn't let it. It happened involuntarily, but I felt a little bit of relief. Okay, dude, if I'm just another young gun gamer, you know, all this shit is I don't have the context because I didn't grow up with these games, and I made it all the way back to 1985. I'm still pretty young. I think that's pretty solid, dude. I think 1985 Super Mario Bros. Honestly, for a younger person, I gotta say, like, that's great. You know, continue your research, try to dive something a little bit earlier, but if you told me you didn't play anything prior to that, I think I would still, you know, all right, you know, I'm getting the thumbs up. Someone else said GBA and Game Boy games. Oldest games I remember playing are GBA and Game Boy games. Pokemon Red, FR, Emerald, Fire Emblem, Blazing Blade, Sacred Stones. Oh yeah, what is that? Ruby, Sapphire, I don't know, FR? Okay. Binding Blade and Final Fantasy 1, 2, 5, and 6. Game Boy Advance, beautiful. You know, great way to go. Lots of games got remade on the GBA as well. So good, I think GBA is a good system. It was a good bridge for younger generations to get into 8-bit stuff as well, the 8 and 16. Yeah. Oh, that headline needs to stay up. Ronaldo said, I just think retro is defined if something becomes 10 years older. So yeah, cutoff for you, 10 years, right? Man, it's cool. We're getting different answers. Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991. I like it, you know? I like it. I'm going to encourage this person to go back, dive a little into the late 80s. Treat yourself. You're gonna like it. Dip your toes in. Sonic the Hedgehog is a great place to start. And if you're there, I think you can do 8-bit. I think we can go back one gen. You know, love it. Dude, love seeing this. Where's my hell yeah? No, that's not the one we want. Something more positive. Settle for that. Someone else said Pong. And then Fireball said it in the we found Fireball's comment here from Reddit. They said Pong on a literal Atari. Now I know that this isn't Fireball here, just from the writing style, but yeah, they said Pong on a literal Atari. I whooped my friend's ass. Now I gotta say, I love this. Right, we've got an overachiever here, all the way back to Pong. Pretty old, man. And clearly this writer here is either very, very young or is otherwise kind of struggling. You know, there's some kind of glaring grammatical stuff there, but that's neither here nor there. They're a gamer. We love it. Hey, you know, some folks are learning the language later than others too, you know? I mean, shit. A whole bunch of gamers out there. It's a wide, wide world. I shouldn't... Yeah, anyway. A literal Atari. Okay. Awesome. Not even a metaphorical Atari or an emulated Atari. Yeah. Amazing. Now, I've expressed before how happy I am to see Gen Z get into these games. I love it, right? I feel like there's not necessarily a passing of the torch here, but something is happening. We're all running together in the same race. I look pretty proud in that photo, too, I gotta say. That's a proud papa looking on some younger generations and thinking, you know what? When I'm an elder gamer, I think, these folks finally, again, I don't know if I don't like these terms like take the reins or pass the torch, because we're still in this race, everybody together, okay? But yeah, I don't know. Are we old? Are we getting old? I don't know, man. I don't know. Golf, 40 years old. Came out for the Famicom, 40 years old ago today. Xbox 360 came out in 2005. It's nearly 20 years old, you know. Be there in a year and a half. Damn. I don't know. Are we old? I don't know. And honestly, dude, here's the thing. It doesn't matter, right? Maybe we're stepping into a new role as the gamer sages here, who get to help guide the next couple generations through this, share our knowledge of what it was like to grow up with these systems, go into Blockbuster, right? Having a beautiful, complete in-box game that you just took the plastic wrap off of, and then immediately tossing that box in the garbage. You know, but keeping that manual and reading it over and over and over. These are the things you had to live through, you know. And I like to think that in the future we get to play that role, you know, and that's kind of nice. Ichigo asked a good question. Do they even want our knowledge? Are they even ready for it? Well, the answer to the first question for me is I don't care. I don't care if they want our knowledge or not. They're going to get it. Out of love, a place of love. Second one, are they even ready for it? I don't know. I guess time will tell. All right, gamers, that's it for Gamer News, Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. All right, guys, that's it. All right, I think I'm gonna take just a brief break, just a quick one, couple minutes, and come back. We're gonna play some Dragon Quest III. Should be fun.